All right, welcome everybody. We're gonna get started here, if you can see that. So we have a pretty packed agenda, so I'm gonna get started right away. So we have a Food Advisory Board Committee presentation, so I'll invite them up right now for that. All right. You want to hand the mic? So did you need two mics?
No, we'll pass back. Hi, everyone. Whoa. Thanks for having us. We are Illinois Tech Dining. My name is Amber Reading. I am the Senior Director of Marketing for Illinois Tech Dining.
I'm Eileen Osgen, and I'm the Marketing Coordinator for Illinois Tech Dining.
With us, we also have Stephen Goodwin, our Resident District Manager, the man in charge. And also a special guest tonight, our graphic design and marketing intern, Cole Kinkart. He's been with us for a year and a half, close to 2 years, absolutely killing it. So got the whole team here. And we will go ahead and jump right in. Quick overview of the agenda. We're just going to talk a little bit about who we are. We'll never miss an opportunity to talk about our locations on campus. Then we're going to dive into the heart of why we're here, the Food Advisory Board, what it means to be a member, how to get a hold of us outside of the Food Advisory Board, and then we'll leave some time for Q&A. So we are Chartwell's Higher Education. If you're familiar or not, just a little bit about us. Chartwell's Higher Education is a food service management company that services colleges and universities, over 300 across the nation. We are a small part of a much larger global organization called Compass Group. So anything that you can imagine in the food service realm, Compass Group does it. Restaurants, hospitals, catering companies, all types of things around the world. But we are specifically Chartwell's Higher Education, and our focus is universities. So with Chartwell's, we really pride ourselves on bringing a customized approach to each campus. We really try to dive into the communities that we are in and become one with the campus, keeping the students engaged with everything that we have going on, trends in dining. We have a big focus on sustainability and making progress in areas to make sure we're, having a positive or a less negative impact on the environment with the foods that we are serving. And of course, a huge focus on culinary. That's why we're here. We have tons of chefs across the nation. So we're always looking into new cutting edge, trendy things that are out there. And here I will hand it over to Eileen to talk a little bit about specifically what we do on campus.
So we are Chartwell's, but on campus, we're known as Illinois Tech Dining, or on social media, we're known as Tech Eats. I'll give you a few more examples of Chartwell's accounts. If you're familiar with DePaul University in the city, they're known as Blue Demon Dining on their campus, or New York University in Manhattan, they're known as NYU Eats. So all Chartwell's accounts, just a customized approach for each campus. We have a variety of locations across campus. We have Center Court in MTCC, which has 3 quick service restaurants, as well as a quick service convenience store. I'll get a little more into Center Court on the next slide. In MTCC, we also have Global Grounds, which is we proudly serve Starbucks coffee shop. They also serve local Do Right Donuts and Foodville boba tea. Right next to us right here, we have John and Pat Anderson's Cafe, which is a trendy cafe on campus that serves local Metropolis coffee. Then we have the Commons Dining Hall in MTCC, which has a wide variety of stations for you all. And then there's the Smart Market, which is in the Galvin Tower on the 6th floor, which is a self-checkout micro market. So a little more into center court. I don't know if any of you have noticed, but over the winter break, we added a 4th TV screen for ramen. So Asiana Ramen is now being served 5 days a week in center court. So the ramen and Absurd Bird are both of our stationary concepts in center court, and then the 2 concepts on the end rotate on a bi-weekly schedule. So you'll see those on the screen right here. We have Habibi, Asiana, Mexibor, and Swad Makan, which are all run by our local vendor, Foodville. Then we also have the Bog, which is right next door in Herman Hall. This is a pub-style restaurant, and on tap at the Bog, we have Mars Beer, which is a local brewery here in Bronzeville. Finally, we have Tekia Market. This is a online shopping experience that is only available on Boost Mobile Ordering. And then we are also the exclusive caterer here on campus. So catering here can look like anything from dinner with the president or a quick pickup for your next SGA meeting. Our catering team is also working on a student catering guide right now, so be on the lookout for that.
So those are just some of the things that we do here on campus, covered our locations that we oversee. Within that, we have our food advisory board. So that is headed up by Andrew. And the goal of the food advisory board is the students on the board kind of act as a liaison between the students and the dining management, Illinois Tech Dining, us. So in those meetings, we like to discuss whatever is important and top of mind for the students. That can be anything from food quality, hours of operation, customer service, menus, dietary needs. But the objective of the food advisory board is to really gather that information from the broader student body and bring that to the meetings to make sure that we're providing a program that the students want and need here on campus. So we are looking for additional members to join the food advisory board. What you can expect in the program, you will be in the first to know about dining updates, changes, anything that's coming from dining. You will have an opportunity to provide your feedback about programs and events and what your friends and your peers are also saying, sharing your opinions. We also do provide each member for every meeting that you attend a $15 voucher that can be used in any Illinois Tech Dining location. As a member, you are expected to attend the biweekly meetings. Our first one of the semester is scheduled for tomorrow at 3:30. If you can't make that one, if you are interested, no worries. They happen, like I said, biweekly, so we'll pick up 2 weeks from tomorrow. They usually last 30 to 45 minutes, depending on how much we have to talk about. In the event that you do want to join the board and something comes up, you can't make it, school is always going to come first. But we do ask that you communicate with the leadership to send somebody in your place or connect with us to make sure outside of that scheduled meeting that your topics are addressed. We do ask that members gather feedback about the dining program from your peers. So if you are kind of representing a group, whether that's like if you're part of residence life, if you're kind of representing that group, that you're going to those groups and collecting the feedback from those students. But we're also just looking for general members as well. It is important, though, that we're getting a wide variety of opinions so that we're not tailoring the dining program to a specific student, but something that is going to fit the broader needs of the entire population. And then we talk a lot about what's coming up in that meeting. So any events that we have going on, program changes that are going to happen. So we do ask that you take that information and take it back to your organization, spread the word on campus, and just kind of be that liaison to connect students with dining if they don't know how to get a hold of us. And speaking of that, if you don't know how to get a hold of us, pull out your phone, take a quick picture of that. Our website is dineoncampus.com/IIT. There's tons of information there about meal plans, our upcoming events, specials, promotions that we have going on. The menus are there, so you can look at, the Commons menu, what's being served every day. We also have a texting line. So if you have a more immediate need that you need to address, you're in the Commons and we're out of spinach on the salad bar, you can send us a quick text and be like, hey, salad bar is out of spinach, and we will get that refilled. I can't promise to always respond between Island and I. We do try to cover and answer every single student, but we can't possibly work 24/7, 365. But I can assure you the entire dining management and supervisor team all receives those messages. So even if you don't get an immediate response to us, I can say that people are listening and watching those messages and they'll react and respond to the request if it's something that we can immediately react to. You can also email us at dining@iit.edu. And then on all of the socials, we are tech_eats. So now we can open it up to questions about the Food Advisory Board. Thank you, guys. Any questions about joining the committee? So Island and I were working all Friday when we closed down and this weekend, and on Monday, we updated the Dine on Campus hours. A lot of that communication comes out through our social media too. Instagram stories, Instagram in general, we have the highest engagement from the student body on there. So that's usually our first and most immediate reaction when we need to get a message out. We have lines of communication with housing and campus life, to either for larger non-emergency kind of changes. They announce it in their newsletters, the Student Life newsletter and the Res Life newsletter that they send out. And then distribution of signs. Island and I weren't here on campus, but our team here was, printing those signs and taking them out to the locations to communicate. We did our best to spread the word as much as possible, get it on the screens throughout campus and everything. But if you have additional ideas of where we need to communicate, if we're not hitting a certain spot, we absolutely can. What was that? Okay, so the suggestion was Hawk emails. We don't have access to an email distribution list from the university. That's why we work with our partners at Campus Life and Residence Life. But we can certainly explore, more opportunities to get that information out. So the question was, how dependent are we on Compass Group or Chartwell's higher education for like program changes or responding to student needs. It really depends on the request. So if it's a request as simple as dietary needs for a specific student, if somebody comes to us and says they follow a halal diet or they have an allergy, maybe a really uncommon allergy, we'll meet with those students and we react to those and handle them completely on campus. Corporate offices can't support a student. We're the ones, you know, that are creating the food and putting the menus out. So we handle that locally. For larger program changes, those are bigger conversations with the university. Trying to think of something recent that we've done. So Stephen said the halal station, Global Halal at the Commons, that was a change to offer all Zabia halal protein there that we handled on campus. You know, we do have to go to corporate and figure out what vendors we can use. When we made that switch, there actually wasn't an accessible vendor immediately available that we could do that. So we had to go out and source somebody ourselves. And since we opened that door here on campus and created that relationship, that company is now serving some other local Chicago campuses, providing that specific Zabia halal hand slaughtered protein on their campuses. We recently, just as of this week, switched the Rooted Vegan Vegetarian Station in the Commons to Jane Friendly. So that was a custom need for this campus. We didn't have to do anything, go to corporate or talk anything with them. It was just a simple switch of our menus that Chef Mark went through and picked recipes for that station that were Jane friendly, that excluded the root vegetables, garlic, onion, things like that. So those are local changes that we just make here specifically on campus. Food Advisory Board is an excellent place to bring feedback about long-term menu changes. So we have over the years tested some different types of menus at the Bog. What kept coming back as the most popular is that like pub style, nachos, burgers, fries, things like that. But the Food Advisory Board is exactly the place to have that conversation, and then collectively dining and the students can come up with a plan of going out and capturing that feedback and figuring out what the students want, and then determining what the plan will be to move forward. All right, I think that's it for us. Thank you guys so much. If you are interested in joining the Food Advisory Board, who should they talk to?
I'll be sending out the link in the Discord, but you can also talk to me and I'll get you the information for it. Thank you. All right, so next we do have a student organization. Sorry, Jacob. It'll be just a few minutes here. So I will invite you guys forward up here. Did you guys share your presentation with me? Okay. I love this.
Well, hello, we are Mariachi Vandercook. Basically, we are a student organization devoted to teaching music teachers and other people all about mariachi music and how to play mariachi music and just how to come together. Do you want to answer?
Okay, so a little bit about our club is that we teach how to play mariachi music and how to teach it as well. We give you different resources and we outreach with the community. So we play with different groups around campus. So mariachis originated in Mexico. However, the genre is inclusive and open to everyone. So no prior knowledge is needed, and we aspire to share this experience with IIT.
All right, some of our goals is not only just to learn and to perform the genre of mariachi music, but it's also just in general, because Vandercook is a teaching college, is to provide teaching opportunities for our students in you as well to learn how to teach other people about mariachi music, and just so that you can fully immerse yourself into the culture.
So will just be our starting policy if you want to read a little bit about that. And then, so the benefits for mariachi are building excellent music, leadership skills. Throughout the program, we give you different leadership skills, such as we train you to become into little ensemble groups. And then we build transferable concrete literacy. So all these skills that we teach you also apply to math, reading, stuff like that. And it connects and gives you insight into the origin of mariachi.
So some of the really cool things that we've done so far with this organization is we've had lots of different performing opportunities. Vandercook every year hosts their fundraising Pops concert, and we've performed every year for the last 2-3 years. And last year, we finally hosted our very first mariachi recital where we invited, it was the Joliet Mariachi Group. And basically, we did a master class with those students. We taught them and we worked with them. And then at the end, we performed a concert together with that mariachi ensemble. And we continue to get more opportunities to perform. We just perform at different events, and people reach out to us a lot, and we just perform for them. We did a birthday celebration for somebody this summer. It was really cool. And there's just more to come with that. Thank you. Do you have any questions?
The budget and the proposal are both linked in the Discord if you want to look at it. Did anybody have any questions for them at this time? Seeing none, do I have a motion to move to previous question? Skip the discussion. Okay, perfect. All right, you guys should be good. Thank you so much. And we will move on. Jacob, if you want to come forward for your resolutions. Okay. Do you want me to pull them up, or do you want to just? Okay. I just don't know if to share them. You want to don't present? Yeah.
Oh, oh, that's yeah. I think I already present. I mean, how many of you have not seen this presentation before? Raise your hand. So this will tell me who's paying attention and who hasn't seen it. Can you raise them a little bit higher? I'm sorry, it's a little bit blurry. Okay, okay. Does that justify representing it? I think so. I actually don't want to, but I'll do it. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Copy. Okay. Yeah. So I'm open. I guess I'll explain my thought process to you. Is that I'm opening up by showing you how broad, diverse, and deep research is. We're seeing all these offices, all these people that define research at IIT, and let's see, a few of these are student run, but I mean a lot of this is also with faculty, and so that's kind of a problem. That it's all defined by faculty and a little student engagement relatively. What is it? And these are like all the opportunities that are available. Some of them are a little bit less advertised than others. And so like some tangible objectives would be getting all of these onto the web page that we're developing and highlighting them more. Oh, the pizza's here. Derek, can you take this? Okay. Oh yeah. So I ask how is it different, and I say it's not different at all. From anything, if you compare it to the collective of SGA, and that each one it could be covered by all these things. But my argument is that, oh yeah, and so I give an example of how it could be covered by all these things. I don't know. Yeah. So my argument between this slide and the next one is saying that like residence life exists on the campus. It could be covered by campus life. Academic affairs, technically, like all of this could, really be, fall under campus life and academic affairs maybe. But, the argument is this one diverse enough, just like comprehensive enough? Like, is it enough to justify its own standing committee? And does it define the student experience enough, or at least a large population of the student experience? And so my argument is yes. And so these are the reasons why one would need to make it, or why it should be made, especially in the context of what we have now. I'm not going to read these to you if you would like to read them. And so I'm saying that my claim is that this is currently the structure of research. And it's very not disorienting maybe, but it's not easy to parse. But then I claim that the creation of a standing committee, or the current existence of the special committee now, creates this structure that allows for, like we just heard, Chartwell's has this whole structure. They can't actually reach students directly. They have this kind of structure, and if they had somebody that was a direct liaison between the students and us, maybe they do. Like there's one person that they should reach out to, as opposed to a whole process of having to reach out to multiple different sources to no avail. So these are like the final outcomes of what a standing committee for research does. I don't know. I mean, to me, it's obvious to create it, but and so it's my understanding that once the discussion is over, or no, once the Q&A is over, it'll go into discussion, and I can no longer participate in it. So I would encourage the Q&A that's about to follow to be more discussion-esque, discussion-oriented. I shared all of these in the past presentation. This is the executive schedule for the SCRA. So you can see, just kind of what we follow. There's also a Google Calendar that corresponds to this. And so like these meetings are plentiful. This is the amendment that I'm actually proposing. The main points are that, one, it's a standing committee. It exists along academic affairs, engagement, DEI, and all those things. And then the other points are that I would be transitioning from the role of the committee chair of research affairs to the VP of research affairs, which that's a non-trivial change. And yeah, and so this amendment would take place, upon supermajority or majority. I think it requires supermajority. Anyway, there are signatures from every one of the members of the committee. Everybody who's involved in this believes that it should exist as a standing committee. And I've made sure upon signing it, that they're familiar of what it means to be a standing committee, because, and I'll kind of, knowing what some people might say is that, the research committee is a little bit too disconnected from SGA, which is true. Only the vice chair, me, and like 2 or 3 other executives are here. Not this whole list of names. But my argument is that, residents' life also is very disconnected from SGA, but it's also one of the most functioning ones. So yes, there is need to create a better connection between these things that, function well, separate or, just adjacent to SGA. There is also a strong, it's not an argument against the creation of it. It just is not, the style that we see with engagement. So we're expecting more of an RHA style and less of an engagement style. I think that's it. Yeah, I transition to Q&A, I guess, Derek.
I'd highly encourage a discussion. We'll start with 5 minutes. Right.
I have one final point. Oh yeah, I don't know. Okay, yeah, my final point is just that you may be wondering, like, is the faculty familiar with this? I don't know if I showed the. Oh wow, that's a lot of links. Yeah, if the faculty is not familiar, if faculty and admin isn't familiar with something that's this extensive, it may come out of nowhere. It may not implement well. But I've spoken with not countless, probably about like all of the important people, Dr. Regel, who's academic affairs, Dr. Higerno, who's VP research, and all of the constituents that they represent. They've seen this. Thank you to Mr. Shanley, who shared it with them, and we've spoken about it quite thoroughly on how it'll be implemented according to alongside administration and student goals. That's all.
Okay, so if you guys want to grab some food, if you want it, Jacob ordered some pizza for us. The question period will pick up right after that, right after some people have grabbed some food, because I know some people didn't know we won't have food. So grab some pizza if you want. We'll start up the question period in like 5 minutes and read through the document.
Hello?
All right, we're gonna move into the question period for the research amendment. Jacob, if you want to come forward. Is there any questions at this point about the amendment? And I do realize that I just released the double reading of the resolutions. This does count as a second reading, so we will be voting on the item tonight. So if anybody has any questions, you can ask them now. If not, I'm open to a motion.
Sure, Derek. Oh, God, that's so loud. Okay, I'm so sorry, everyone. Okay, so my question to Jacob would be, so could you kind of outline more of like the parallels you see between the establishment of research with SGA to residence life, because I found that to be particularly interesting, and kind of how you think they compare?
Structurally, I actually have no idea how RHA acts. I just what I mean is that the structure that exists for RHA is really only tied by encouragement of the members to come to SGA, but like the only significant tie is the head of it. So you are it, and so the chair of research committee would be. I think that there's a little bit more of a correlation between those in the research committee and those that attend SGA. And I want to remark that perhaps it's my desire to be able to defend myself, but after the Q&A goes into discussion, and it's very scary to watch things be talked about as when I can't engage in them. So if you have any, I like Q&A plus C&A, comments or C&R, comments and remarks. Respond. All right. Yes, Andrew.
So with the addition of another committee that senators would become a part of, that could become like a part of, would you, what would your thoughts be on increasing the number of senators within the Senate? So that way there's still a adequate number of senators for all the other committees, as well as satisfying the senators in your committee.
I'm always encouraging my members to join SGA. And so it was a bit of a tough draw during the 7-15 time. But yeah, I mean, and I would actually not let, I know it's, maybe I can't do this, but in some ways, you can, is, just like not let, the people of your committee only go to your committee. Like last semester, we had people just sitting around that were, because they were saying they were attending research meetings, but knowing that the research committee doesn't actually use SGA Senate, I would encourage them to participate elsewhere.
All right, any other questions, or do I have a motion to move to discussion?
Questions, comments, questions.
Tessa? Question.
In the last sentence that you just said, you said that your research committee doesn't really use the Senate. Can you expand on that?
The members and the committee itself, as we see here, doesn't meet collectively. It's too compartmentalized to meet. If we had all of the social media, all of the social media team, the web team, the representative team, and the executives all meet, we never really even have those meetings. Like you see here, this is SCRI committee meeting. We haven't decided the exact date because one, we don't really use them because we know that just on the probability that SGA chooses this time, it wouldn't, maybe it doesn't work for maybe even half of our people. I guess I'll, how SGA meetings or Senate meetings currently act for the committee and how I plan to continue them is that they act as, any complaints, concerns, questions, interests, that students have, they can come to the SGA meeting and they can, talk to me or any of the executives that are here. Most of the executives, actually, one of the requirements is for an executive to be both a peer mentor, certified peer mentor as part of the university system, as well as a senator. So you may notice that, we have Sudipta who leads the web team. The vice chair is also, they're both senators. Anyways, so yeah, during Senate, it could be executive meetings, an executive recap, but really it's more just like an open tabling session for anybody. And, of course we use it to provide updates to SGA and, connect with the rest of the the government.
So as a standing committee, would you have senators that serve on your committee that would meet during Senate committee meetings?
Not unless they wanted to. No, the Constitution states that, it's encouraged that people go to these, the senators must be participants of, a committee. I wouldn't expect actually that any of the members, I would discourage that any of the members make the research committee their sole committee unless they are an executive. And one of the lines in the Constitution or the bylaws says that the EVP can appropriately allocate the senators as seen fit. And so I would, work closely with the EVP to make sure that actually none of the people, like perhaps this is a non-ideal situation, but so far it's worked out pretty effectively where we don't actually meet, all the senators don't gather because, yeah. Because when you're choosing from the senators, it's kind of like a random selection from who is of the committee. And so nothing effective will get done. It may, you'll be cutting other people out. And so it doesn't seem really inclusive.
Thank you. That is our question time. Can I have a motion to move to discussion, please? A second. All right. And so we'll move on to our discussion period. Would anybody like to start that off? No discussion. Tessa.
I think the answers to those last couple questions tell us a lot about what this committee or what this potential committee is prioritizing. And that does not sound like a committee that would make sense to have as a standing committee in SGA.
Thank you, Elio.
So initially, I was not convinced, and I made it very clear to Jacob that I wasn't convinced by his committee. But after the presentation, I have been swayed a different direction, and I will be voting yes for the committee. And I will tell you why. Is because I have seen firsthand the resources that students currently get from the university when it comes to research. And I'll tell you right now, they are absolutely terrible. They could be better. Dr. Rigel wishes they could be better. A lot of administrative members wish they could be better, but they currently aren't because of the disconnection that we have. Having this committee doesn't necessarily mean that we're going against what SGA is, but rather more towards what SGA is supposed to be. We are basically building this new committee. Well, Jacob would be building this new committee that, in essence, would help connect those disconnections across campus and would provide more opportunities for research across campus. That is something that we need to start focusing on here, and it all starts with student initiatives, as many things do start on this campus with student initiatives. So I would vote yes, and I encourage everyone else to vote yes, because this is something that could potentially change the course of the university and the way it treats research.
Okay, so a few comments. So I've been working with SGA, right? So with the exec board for the past semester. And essentially the VP of Academic Affairs is what was taking care of this research affairs, right? But it's a lot of work. We don't have the resources. Like we're stretched thin as it is. That's why Nathan, like all the pressure got to him. As students, I think we need to like collaborate with one another. Illinois Tech being a tech university, like research focused, and it's only increasing its like research, I guess, scope. They're investing in other research opportunities in the city, in downtown. I think this is great because we already have a VP for research for the university. So I think SGA should have a separate part who can look into all of this. And I think Jacob has already proved himself because he's been one of the most hardworking members of the SGA, right? So yeah, just there's always gonna be like those nitty-gritties that we have to work out once it's been approved about how the members are gonna work, who has what responsibilities. But I think we need this as one of the branches of SGA if you wanna move forward and get the opportunities to the students. So I highly recommend people vote yes. Thank you.
Right. Any other points of discussion? Tessa, Rezwan, will you hand off your mic to Tessa, please? Anybody else though after Tessa at all? No? Okay.
I think that I haven't personally seen much come out of this out of the special committee for research so far. And I think that before we get a standing committee within our constitution, we should get actual results from the special committee that already exists for that purpose. And I frankly haven't seen those results, so I will be voting no on this amendment.
All right, any other points of discussion? Our time is up for discussion, so if we can move on, that would be great. Okay, we will move on. Do I have a motion moved to? I don't remember the words. Previous question? All right, a second? Perfect. Any opposed? Okay, so we will move on. These next, I don't know what we have left, but we're gonna try to get through them as fast as possible. So if you have a discussion point, keep it brief. If you have a question, keep it brief. If you're voting no, just say it. We're just gonna try to get through these things as fast as possible because we want to get to committee meetings at least for a minute so you guys can at least see what your goals are for this semester. So I will invite Jacob up again to present the GPT amendment again. And this is also being presented for the second time, so we will be voting on this as well. Jacob.
Is there a document? It was the document in the in the Discord. The document I might have attached it here. I don't know. I did not. I don't want to click on it anything without knowing what it is.
Thanks, Nate.
Yeah. Yep. The title of the resolution is "Beam Me Up to the ChatGPT Enterprise." The reason for this is that this amendment requests ChatGPT Enterprise, which basically gives everybody access to GPT-4. And unfortunately, we didn't have this set up prior. Last time, I think I presented this right before break, and I showed some things that it could do. I showed some example conversations. I don't think I need to justify this so much. I think in the Q&A period is where the questions of whether or not it's a viable existence within. I mean, I think the students would all be pushing for it. I don't feel I need to argue much. But yeah, all it is requesting that the university invests in a institutional subscription to ChatGPT Enterprise so that everybody has GPT-4 access. One of the reasons for this is in the context of, no, not that one. Things such as, that's your emails. It's such as the, sorry, here's just a few of the things. Oh, anyways, as the top right thing, as the research mentor GPT, this is the, like, I don't know, this is the only one that I'm aware of, perhaps, because I don't explore IIT resources that often. But anyways, I think that GPTs like these are going to be a little bit more commonplace, which are, I mean, this GPT, an outcome of the SCRA, is fed in by alumni information, student information input, and just a bunch of resources. And it's like specifically tailored. If you once you have GPT Pro, which would come alongside the subscription, you would actually be able to like make your own version of these and see how this works. But yeah, like accessing these is one feature of it. But the biggest feature really is so that, I mean, you have a better consultant in GPT. I really don't know how familiar everybody is with GPT and GPT-4 particularly, but it's a significant upgrade from 3.5, which is currently the free version on ChatGPT. I'm not going to say any more about it. If you want it, I would encourage voting yes. If you don't, I don't know why.
All right, any questions on this resolution at all?
I have one more remark again. I've spoken again with the administration who actually all the admin except Dean Stutz. I don't know if Dean Stutz is like suitable to discuss this with. It just anyway, I spoke about it with Dr. Orgel, who I don't know, he was just the first person that came to mind because you question, will this be accepted by administration for academic affairs? Dr. Orgel was on board and enthusiastic to see this come through. And I spoke with a few of the college deans, and they were all of the ones that I spoke with were enthusiastic. So if yours wasn't, I didn't speak to them. Anyways, that's all.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much. Derek? No?
Do we have any questions on this name?
My first question is an explaining question. My second one, I'll play devil's advocate. The first question I want to ask is, so let's say, for example, I'm a student who really needs help finding research help, and the library is currently, closed, or the research desk is unstaffed. Like, kind of, what's the process from start to finish I can use a GPT for to get that help?
Without the mentor that I showed on the Instagram, like I would actually not at all recommend ever using just the basic GPT to do so. Maybe it can give you some general things that you hadn't considered, but using the specific, this mentor will like often provide you. I don't know if you were there for the demo last time, but I think I announced this in November or October. But it showed how it would output a bunch of resources that are specific to it. And it basically actually, I forgot about the research help desk, but it basically acts as a replacement, not a replacement, but a supplement to the research help desk. And so, you could pursue this. You would, the step-by-step process is going to the ChatGPT website. From there, to actually access the mentor, you have to find the link, which is located in the bio here. Oh, actually, there it is. And so it's located elsewhere through, oh, that's the SGA consultant. Why is that one? Okay, anyways, I guess I linked the wrong one. But yeah, you go to ChatGPT, you go there, you submit a question, you have a conversation with it. Maybe it'll ask for clarification, but generally it doesn't ask for clarification, it just spits out as much as it can at you.
And just my second question, just playing devil's advocate here. Let's say, for example, I am a student employee with research, and I am concerned that the GPT may render my job obsolete eventually. What's your solace regarding that?
You're a student researcher or a faculty researcher?
We'll go student researcher.
Okay. Well, that's fair. Actually, a lot of people are concerned that, I think the perspective is now changing from, I want to engage in research that is from what a lot of the narrative that I've heard is students stating that they don't want to engage in a project that could be solved by either an undergraduate who is just exposed to the topic or by a GPT with proper prompt management or prompt, I forget what it's called. And so it may, yeah, I don't think it'll remove any jobs in terms of research. It's not at that stage yet. It'll advance the job. It's like a calculator. It's not going to remove. It will remove calculators' jobs, but at a point that becomes so monotonous that it's going to remove the jobs that seem less interesting as it becomes more adapted.
All right, thank you. Any other questions, or do I have a motion? Alejandro, was that a question?
Yes, I was going to ask, what would your counter argument be if faculty start getting concerned about academic dishonesty, especially in like open laptop exams, that sort of stuff?
What's it called? Stack Overflow exists. There's a bunch of other resources that exist. This is novel. There's also, I think it's GPT-0 or something, which can detect if you used artificial intelligence. We're actually seeing more administration, surprisingly, unlike I mean, with some governments, we're seeing more like university administrative preemptive decisions. So they're like implementing things that are ready to detect GPT and they're adapting curriculum. However, slowly they're doing it to address these concerns. But most of the teachers that I've spoken with here are fine with it. I mean, of course they discourage it and it goes against the handbook, but they're generally fine seeing it and excited to see it.
Also, SGA is working with like the university faculty to integrate ChatGPT into our coursework, right? So they're right now they're not seeing it as something like people can use to cheat, but a tool they can use to modify their answers to make it better. So a lot of these policies are gonna come out sooner than later. And I think even like this semester, a lot of professors are telling their students that, hey, these specific assignments, you can use ChatGPT on them just to like see how this is compared to your normal assignments. And I think they're encouraging this. So, eventually every single institution is just gonna use it as a tool, like a calculator, and not as something they just whip out during exams. But yeah. Any other questions? Okay.
Tessa, is that a question? We're out of time. If you want to extend, you can motion for it. How many? Do I have a second? You have a second. Any opposed? No, okay. Alejandro, thank you.
You mentioned that you would encourage people to use tools like GPT-0, but by introducing or by encouraging an institutional subscription to a ChatGPT, that would then mean that professors would likely be a lot more worried about people using AI on assignments, and then resort to using unreliable tools such as GPT-0, which claim that even human written stuff is AI generated, such as someone put the Declaration of Independence into one and it said that it was AI. How would you respond to the issues of that?
Encourage awareness of the administration. If the administration is using something that, such as GPT-0, that is faulty, it's likely, given how leading the College of Computing is here. Like Dr. Fortnow is pretty engaged with this. He's the dean of the college, and he's very actively engaged in the discussion on this, the development of this. And so I think over time there may be panels or like a committee that guides this. I think at University of Michigan they just created a panel, and actually Michigan has implemented its university-wide GPT. But sorry, I may be failing to answer your question. I don't think it's much of a concern. If they're using it and it's faulty, a student can contest it. I don't think a professor would willingly accuse a student of doing something. Typically, you can gauge in the class. I think professors can tell, will this student cheat or not? Have they cheated it before? Assignments that can't use ChatGPT, like it takes one midterm or one quiz to tell if a student's cheating. And I wouldn't say it's a big concern for professors apart from the homework. Now, for homework-driven classes, maybe it's a concern. But in that case, that just requires a restructuring of the coursework. I don't think there will be false accusations of students. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe somebody else can speak up who's more knowledgeable.
Thank you. Do we have a motion to move into
I have
discussion?
one last question. Simple question. It's a yes or no.
Okay, go ahead.
Do you have a member of the Senate that has signed on to that resolution?
Yes.
Okay.
Motion. All right. Do I have a second to move to previous question? All right. Oh, or discussion. Okay. Any discussion points? Elio. All right, a motion to move to previous question. Second, any opposed? All right, Bolu, will you release a voting form for that?
Yeah.
Thank you, and we will move on.
Guys, take your time to vote. Like if you're really concerned about this issue, make your voices heard. Okay, so now, I don't know if it's the lighting or the weather. Everyone seems so sleepy. So, we'll start moving around. First things first, for the VP of DI, I have nominated Mario Diaz for this semester. And then in the coming elections, he has to rerun. That's how it works, yeah? So yeah, for this semester, all the events, everything DI related of the SGA, that will be done for Mario. Mario, do you want to stand up? Yes. You can come up, just give a brief introduction, your name, major, and why you're interested, if you want to say it.
Makes sense. Hi guys, my name is Mario Diaz. Right now I'm a candidate for the VP of DEI. A little bit of me, it's just that I think the most incredible thing of me is I'm from Peru. I have some previous experience doing some DEI in my previous college. And I'm really looking forward to meet all of you and to work to do a lot of events that actually makes our collective experience better. Yeah, that's the thing. Everything. Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions or expectations from Mario they want to share right now? Oh, Avery. No, just I'll figure it out.
So this is actually mostly for Rez. You said that you were nominating Mario, but didn't give any real reason why. What is it that makes you decide to nominate Mario? Like, what qualifications or experiences do you feel as the person nominating him were worth a nomination opposed to other candidates?
Yeah, I think we did a bunch of interviews. I guess I liked the open-mindedness that Mario had, and he was more unbiased than a lot of the candidates we had. But yeah, I trust my friend Elio. I think they've been roommates for a long time on his character, right? Neighbors on his character, and I've known Mario since like freshman year. Yeah, I think he's an splendid individual, and he also like said plans that he had for the DI of SGA that kind of aligns with what I had in mind. So yeah, I hope that answers the question.
All right, and then this one is for Mario. Would you be willing to expand on what you mean by experiences working in DEI at a different school?
Sure. I had some like, I don't know how to say it because it's not the same thing as you guys have here in the United States. That is the SGA. We have our own government in Peru that also we had in our university, and I run the diversity group. This is not called DEI, but it's called diversity group. And I had a lot of events as well. I was in charge of doing the events, making sure that everything was going and working good. And I think like doing that is a lot of job, a lot of work, but I think like, yeah, it's like something similar to what I'm gonna be doing here, and I feel really excited to start doing it.
Thanks. Any other questions? Okay, then we will move on. Does she
There's
have?
one down front.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Mario, could you, there were plans that I think Rez mentioned. What plans you have for the DEI committee?
Yeah, like we're gonna just make some events. We want to do a lot of cultural events, if that makes sense. We want to like enrich our culture, looking from different aspects. Yeah, mainly like we start working out because I'm recently in current nominated, but we start planning soon. Yeah.
Okay. So right now it's mostly based on events, but I really needed the nomination because I'll go on it the next slide, but there's definitely a lot of DEI issues on campus, and I really needed someone to be like looking into those specifically. So yeah. So and the plans that we're talking about is one of the things is like a cultural week, and we already reached out to the different some of the organizations on campus, some religious organizations to bring people closer together. But yeah. We'll discuss them more when we have a solid plan. Okay. So,
You have more questions.
oh, okay.
Yeah,
Just-
I had a couple more questions. One is for Mario himself. I don't, I've never met you before. I don't really know what your qualifications are. I'm not really gonna question them. You seem like an honest guy. Um, but I just wanted to know how you would handle the issue of flags that keep coming up in Herman Hall. I'm sure as DEI, you're going to be met with that question. I just wanted to know how you would approach that, as it is kind of a controversial topic.
So it is controversial. I prefer to move on, but I'm really would love to speak this with you or in the next Senate meeting that we're gonna have, maybe with more explanation and the plan that we have already, if you know what I mean.
Okay. And then I had one more question. It's not for Mario. It's kind of just for the exec in general. And that is one pledge that you guys have taken in the past is transparency. And there has been zero transparency around the selection of this role. This role was instated like before the last election, and it was just suddenly not filled, even though there were people that ran for it allegedly. And then it took almost a semester to actually select someone. And I just wanted to hear what you guys had to say about that and hear the full story.
Yeah, so I can actually give you a good answer for this one, I think. So we actually did not have this position. Well, we did have this position, but by the time we had the election of the current SGA administration, nobody ran for it, as far as I recall. I don't remember seeing any names on the ballot, and I don't remember seeing anyone even tempted to run for it, though. The reason it's taken so long is because we've been very careful with how we want to choose this role. If a lot of you don't already know, my role is very neutral, and I basically said that we need to do the same thing for DEI, is that DEI needs to remain an incredibly neutral role. You need to remain neutral in a lot of issues on campus. So we were incredibly selective with the way we needed to treat it. And I ended up, if it wasn't as transparent, I do apologize for that. That's a failure on my part. But we did actually reach out to, I'm pretty sure like 99% of the cultural organizations on campus to give us a set of questions that they would ask said candidate. My questions list is about 26 questions I received from across campus from organizations such as SJP, AEPI, Prism, and whatnot. And Prism was actually the largest contributor to these questions, and they were able to contribute questions that could work for virtually any situation. And so these questions were part of the interview process. And if you'd like to see those questions, I'd be happy to share them with you. This is not something that I want to keep secret. As a matter of fact, I'd love to share them with you, but you have to come up to me or any of us personally, because we all have a copy of these questions. And as for why it took so long, it's just a matter of nobody was willing to approach the position. We tried asking several people, and we had several candidates, including Tessa, come up to us. It was just very difficult to try and set up a way to interview these people. So yeah, that's as much as I can tell you right now. And I hope that answers your question. But yeah, it was kind of difficult to get more and more people to be nominated.
I mean, I don't fully agree with no one wanting to do the position, but I do appreciate at least giving your side of the story. I think that's something that the Senate needed to hear. So thank you for that, Leo.
I'll also add, Jacob, I know that there were several people who were nominated initially in
Go,
the
sir.
election, but turned down the nomination and chose not to run.
Mhm.
So that may be where part of the confusion about people ran is coming from, is that there were a large number of people who were nominated but turned it down.
Oh, no, I know people that were like signed up for it and they just never heard back.
All right, so we'll
And
figure that.
I had a couple other questions before that, sorry.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
I have a mic, Joseph.
I was just giving it back.
Okay, first one was, you even acknowledged that there are a lot of issues facing DEI at this school, but said you're still choosing to prioritize events. Why is this?
No, I didn't say prioritize. I said I prioritized having someone address those. Events are just part of it, just to bring this community closer, because that's one of the things that I saw on this campus is that we advertise ourselves as one of the most diverse schools, but I still people see, huddled in groups, like they hang out with their own same friend groups. They don't actually feel comfortable, making new friends. So that's basically what the events are. They are not like priority over something else. It's just like, I really think Mario will address some of these issues. Like I will address some of these issues. But also, I also have to address every single other VP's issues as well. That's what I said, not the prioritize events.
All right, and then this one is for Mario. I respect the decision to publicly remain neutral. I try to do so on many topics myself. Having said that, when it comes to DEI topics, many of them are inherently controversial and will eventually require some position to be taken. What are your thoughts on this, and would you continue your public neutrality, or are you willing to take a stand when it comes time for it?
Can you repeat the last part, please?
Do you intend to continue your conscious neutrality, or if the situation warrants, would you be willing to take a more public stand on an issue?
Oh, okay. Being honest with you and with everybody, I think like after analyzing what's the best thing for everybody, that's gonna be my way to analyze the things. Because like if at the end the most popular thing it's something that is actually probably is gonna be a bad decision for everybody, I think it's not the good way to do the things. So like talking about that, don't worry that I'm gonna be working on that. If I answer your question, that would be nice. But if you have more questions, yeah, you can go and go ahead.
All right, thank you. And that's our time for the question period of this. We're gonna move on really quick. We'll have exec reports and open floor after committee meetings, so we'll just move straight to voting on this one.
Okay, motion to move the previous question into voting.
All right, so we have a motion to move on to the voting of this nomination. Do we have a second? I have an opposition. Do I have a second? I have a second, and I have one opposed. Would we like to vote? All those in favor of moving to the voting period on this item, please just raise your hand if you're a voting member. Okay, and if you are opposed, you can raise your hand at this point. All right, we'll move on then. Bolu, will you release the voting form? All right. Yeah, so we're gonna move on to committee meetings. Oh, yeah.
Derek, are we allowed to hear the reason for opposed? Okay, thank you. Just wanted to know.
The discussion period is over. So, yeah. We can let her speak. It's fine.
Motion to move back into discussion, if I can get a second for that.
Okay, so we had a motion to move to previous question. It was seconded, we voted on it, correct? We did, so we're just gonna move on. That's just how our Senate functions.
So we
It's a-
entirely skipped discussion?
That was the motion. We are a representative democracy. We voted. That was how the motion fell. If you have specific questions for Mario, you are free to come up and talk to him, but we cannot waste any more time arguing about Senate functions. If you want to read about them in Robert's Rules of Orders, I have a copy. Go ahead on to the announcements, Rezwan.
Okay, let's move on. Okay. Is everyone, how many in this room is a senator? Could you raise your hands? Okay, and I'm guessing everyone else is interested in SGA to work for SGA, right? So I want everyone one by one to say, is everyone part of a committee here? Then could you just one by one say which committee you're part of? Could we start from the back? Okay. Are you part of something? Do you want to be in the SGA though, right? Okay. Um, Go ahead. Campus life. Okay. Joseph. Public safety. Sarah. Okay. Avery. Okay. Not on one. Academic affairs. Okay. 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 And then, yeah. Okay. Bolu. Oh, she's. Okay. Okay. And then there's the, yeah. Okay. Eric, are you part of this? No. Okay. You guys? Okay. Nikila, can you give everyone the tickets? Yeah. One by one. So I need some members to be part of different organizations. So like a planning committee that you guys can see. We're gonna have a SGA SCRA gala on April 19th. So I'm just gonna randomly choose people to be part of this, okay? You can still be part of your organizations, but yeah, and then you'll have some responsibilities. It's gonna be random. And then we'll also need some people, what? Oh, and then we'll also need some people. Does everyone remember when Dr. Girl from UFC came by and asked for input for the core curriculum evaluation? So we also need some people to brainstorm some of those things. So yeah.
We're gonna move into committee meetings. Make sure you have seen Akila on your way into the Tell Labs. Engagement with Elio, residence life with Naeem, campus life with Andrew. Research affairs is not having a committee meeting. Public safety, are you guys having a committee meeting, Joseph? Are you having a committee meeting? Are you? Okay. No, go ahead. Oh, DEI is also with Elio, and Mario will be in that group as well. And then academic affairs will be meeting with Jacob at this time, correct, Jacob?
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. And then if you have not reported on the spreadsheet in the email that I sent out, what committee you're on, please do that. But we'll be heading out into the Tell Lab, so just follow the VPs out.
Yeah, we'll head out there, and then once we have the people chosen for those planning committees, everyone just stays there for like a minute, and then you'll just meet with me, or I'll just come to you for a few minutes. But yeah, how many people here are DI? The DI senators? So 1, 2, 2. Okay. Okay. Let me just grab out Nikila. What was the last number on your hand? You didn't give out all of them, right? So yeah. Okay, let's see. Does anyone have 23? Yeah, the last 2 digits is 23. Okay. Hey, let's go. Okay, so do you want to be part of DI? For the culture week planning? Just, it's not part of the committee, it's just a planning phase. No? Okay. Oh, it's gonna be really fast. 20? Does anyone have 20? Okay. Okay, Sarah, you'll be part of the committee. I do not care. Okay, now we have the gala. Who's 12? Okay. So, okay, remember that you're part of the SGA gala, okay? And then final one, 15. Is there anyone who's 15? 19? Okay, so we have everyone, just remember what team you're part of. Okay, now we'll go to the committee meetings. Thank you for your patience. Let's go.
Across the whole of this semester, I literally don't have time. I'm in two Greek, I'm like two exact words and this shit, and I gotta plan a whole fucking.
All right, welcome back, welcome back. If I don't have you. All right, why don't everybody take a seat? We just have 2 more items and then we'll be on our way. All right. If I don't have you down for a primary committee, will you come up here right now while we're waiting for Jacob's committee, the Academic Affairs Committee, to trickle back in? I think I have most of you. Andrew, do you have a primary committee yet? Or are you still floating around? Okay, Joseph, do you have one? I'll count it for this week, but. Oh, okay. Are you going to be a part of engagement? Okay. So I have, will everybody who's a senator just raise their hand so I can count you really quick? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, we should be all right. We have 2 quick items. We have an open floor. But before that, I would like to ask your guys' permission to do something. I have a senator nomination, but I don't know if you guys want to hear that tonight. My senator nomination is Maya. She's been very active last semester in student government, and she's very interested in being a senator. Would you guys allow me to do that tonight? She would just introduce herself. You guys would have a couple minutes to question if you'd like, and that would be voted on tonight. It's up to you guys, but if you're in favor of it, just raise your hand and I'm good to continue. Okay, we're good. So I'm nominating Maya. She's been super motivated. She came to a lot of our meetings last semester. She enjoyed a lot of them. She was going to be on the finance board, but that kind of fell through the cracks. So she wants to be more active in this side of SGA. So that's pretty much it. Maya, do you want to take a quick 30 seconds?
Hi, everyone. My name is Maya. I'm a 4th-year medicinal chemistry student. And, I look forward to getting to know all of you and just becoming an advocate for the students. I love, getting to know people, helping people out in any way I can, whether that be financial, in terms of their academics, research, whatever they want to pursue. I'd love to help out. So, if you have any questions for me, I'd love to answer them. So thank you for your time and your consideration.
All right. And are there any questions for Maya at this point? Seeing none, do I have a motion to move on to discussion? All right. Any discussion points? You can sit down, Maya. Thank you. I love it. Any discussion points at all? Seeing none, do I have a motion to move to a second, please? All right, perfect. Bolu, will you release a voting form, please? I know you have to make one, but bear with me. I'm sorry. So I guess we will move on to our open floor item, which is, I would just first like to rediscuss the open floor policies that are starting at this meeting. Oh, gosh. And that is that for future open floor, you'll just have to reach out beforehand to me, letting me know what you're going to discuss, just so I can get you a slot on our agenda. And so we're aware of how many people are going to come to open floor, so we don't have a 30-minute open floor that we're unaware of ahead of time. So I will invite Eric up. He is going to speak about road safety and the importance of safety on campus.
It's gonna be less of a. I have 3 minutes. Okay, so I don't look pathetic as I was a month ago, but I got hit by a car down over there. So I just want to speak about that for a moment. I think road safety is probably one of the less talked about issues, but we had like 3, maybe 4 incidents last semester, myself included now. So I know it's going to happen this semester. It's only a matter of time. So I think there's like 3 big points that I think need to be addressed by the school. The first one, and that's the most annoying one for me, is cameras. There's like no cameras. I got hit like right outside MTCC. There was no cameras there. There's no cameras on any of the traffic intersections. So it was a hit and run. So no one's getting sued for me, which sucks. So I think that's like the big issue because there's only so much you could do to prevent it. Inevitably, people are going to get hit. So I really hope the school can invest and divulge some money to cameras at least some of the major intersections and some of the crossing points. So students can at least have some recourse to seek legal action against whoever so happens to hit them. Another one, just like general like signage or potential speed bumps on State Street or other intersections where there may be issues. I know that's like a pain in the ass and the school doesn't really have any jurisdiction on that, but I'm sure that there's like some means that the school can bark up the governmental tree and try to get that done. And then finally, like more presence at the intersections. I've noticed this on and off. There'll be occasionally a public safety van. But beyond that, I think just having a physical crossing guard, especially during busy times of the day, would be particularly helpful, especially around that same intersection. Because like even like 2 days ago, there was a car that like whizzed right past me. And I'm sure that everyone in this room has at least seen a car go super fast down State Street. So just even having a crosswalk or a crossing guard there would be pretty helpful. So hopefully something can change. I don't know. I'll keep barking up the trees, see where it goes. And yeah.
All right. Any other points of discussion from senators? I skipped senator reports. I'm sorry. If you have one now, I am open to hearing it. Nobody had anything on their slide. Did you? Yeah, I figured you'd want to announce your RHA meeting.
Sorry. Just real quick, we're not having RHA this week. We're having RHA next week. Also, I did want to say congratulations to Eric for your recovery. Definitely regarding the road safety, certainly I just want to emphasize that, you know, everyone is very careful when crossing the street. It is dangerous. I literally have cars, just they don't see me. Like I literally stand there and I wait for them to approach. Like, don't try and test them. I see freshmen, they're like, oh, the cars will stop for me. They will not. Like, you know, just be very careful. It is your life. I know people make that joke about, oh, haha, you know, the university will pay, you know, if I get hit, something like that, whatever. You know, that's not a funny thing to joke about. That is your life. You could be really hurt in a permanent way. I just hope everyone's just be very, very careful about their own safety. With that being said, for residence life regarding stuff specifically, please keep in mind that I will not be a student here at this university after this semester because I will be graduating. Yes, it's finally I get to take my cane and go. It's been a good run here at the university. I'm not quite done yet, but I still just have this semester. So if anyone is interested in the Vice President of Residence Life role, please do reach out to me as soon as possible. We really do need someone in that residence life advocacy role. I will say, unlike some of the other positions that come here, I am very biased. I am biased for the resident and for the student that lives in a residence on campus. I am their advocate first, and whoever fills those shoes should be their advocate first and foremost always. So I'm hoping someone decides to step up to the plate. RHA had died for about a year entirely, and it came back. But like, you know, it's kind of sort of kind of really been me for a good little while now, and it really needs some new leadership. It needs some new life and some new ideas that I have not been able to fully implement. And I recognize those failings. I definitely do in the past couple years, and I am sorry for that with RHA, but at the very least, we've gotten RHA partnered with SGA. That was a big accomplishment in terms of just increasing visibility and information distribution to students. So I hope we can go forward from there and that we have a good foundation. We have an election for the position now officially. So yeah, I think we're in good hands. And then, yeah, RHA will be resuming next week, next Thursday. So I'll have another reminder at the next RHA meeting. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Naeem. Any other items from executives? I think we're good to adjourn. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Second. I'm assuming nobody will be opposing. So thank you guys for coming. Sorry, it was a crazy long night. Next week will be shorter. Same time, hopefully slightly different location, still within Kaplan. I will see you all next week. Bye.